Hi, I'm Mark Ostavo.
And I'm Jeremy Weiss.
This is Hockey Player Magazine's 101 Hockey Tips.
101 Hockey Tips is a combination of plays, drills, and advice that will help you improve your game.
Whether you're a coach trying to help your team, a player trying to make the cut, or just playing for fun, 101 Hockey Tips is there to help you, the beginner, and the advanced hockey player.
If the defenseman has been able to get the puck under control and gather speed coming out of his zone, he must be very careful to make the right play in the neutral zone. If it's congested, often the right play is not to pass it at all, but instead get to the red line and dump the puck into the opposition zone. If he makes a bad pass in the neutral zone and it's intercepted, he's caught traveling the wrong direction and is susceptible to a breakaway or outnumbered attack on his partner who's backing him up.
Main thing you want to remember when you're passing the puck to your teammate is you want to have soft hands. It gives you better control with the puck and it won't bounce off your stick. So when we start with our weight back here on our back foot. Nice and easy motion like that. You want to catch the puck just like you're catching an egg.
In a game situation, a lot of times players love to go for the big hit. Looks good, sounds impressive, but what actually happens sometimes is that they get themselves tied up with that other man and the puck goes forward, they have no way of getting to it. So what's more effective sometimes in the game is to actually just go for the quick bump. Quick bump, take the puck, now you're on your way with the puck. It's a lot more effective and you can get a lot of breakaway chances because of it.
A good player's actions and movements away from the puck are just as important as, and sometimes more important than, his play with the puck. If you're playing with a Gretzky or some other clever director, it's imperative to play smart without the puck. If you're going to play on the same line as him, you'd better know where to be and when to be there.
Another pass that we want to do is the saucer pass. And we usually use this one if there's somebody between me and my teammate trying to stop the pass. So you want to get it over their stick, but you don't want the puck twirling around on end. You want it to be nice and flat like a saucer. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up our stick like this. We're just going to flip it up so it's nice and flat like that. So if there's somebody between us, we'll go right over their stick. Great way to stop a shooter who's in front of you. Give him a quick hook to the elbow like this. Helps him lose the puck. You can create a turnover. Also, you want to keep your feet moving while you do it, otherwise you'll get called for a hook. So just like this.
Agility is one of the most important skills that a defenseman can possess. He needs to be able to go forwards, backwards, side to side, all while maintaining full speed so he doesn't get burned by that forward. Here's a great agility drill. Player starts on the dot. On the whistle, he explodes forward, inside reverse pivot around, stops. Back up, forward, pivots backwards, back to the dot, stops. Then he's going to do a sidestep crossovers all the way across. He's going to do it back all the way across the other side, then back to the dot and stop. When he gets back, then he's going to come up to the front, pivot around the other side, stop, back up, all the way back around and through.
Being aggressive is the key to making a difference at both ends of the ice. You can't be afraid to take some chances. Of course, you have to be aware of when is a good time to take a chance and when it's a good time to play it safe, but aggressiveness is very important.
So if we're going to angle somebody off in the corner with a body check, what we're going to do is come up behind him. We're going to put our stick behind him. We're going to push his elbow into the boards. And I'm going to put my leg right between his. We're going to come in with our stick behind him. I'm going to push his elbow into the boards. I'm going to put my leg between his leg, just like this. He can't go anywhere. When we're talking about one-on-ones coming into our defensive zone, we're talking about closing the gap. So when we start out on the opposing team's blue line, we want to be about 2 to 3 stick lengths away. And by the time we get to our blue line here, we want to be 1 to 2 stick lengths away so we can make a play on him before he comes into our zone.
When you're battling a player in front of the net, especially a bigger player, it's important to leverage your size. Use your size to your advantage. There are a few ways you can do this, a few vulnerable spots for hockey players. The first one is on top of his skate, top of the laces. If you tap that, tap the other side, it sends him forward, throws him off balance, then you can move him out of the way after he's off balance. If he starts counteracting that by leaning forward, you can start tap the back of his legs, and that again throws him off balance the other way. Also, there's a few vulnerable spots on the back. As you can see, there's the line where the pants come up and end. You can put your stick in the crease there and push down, and as you can see, that'll throw him backwards, throw him off balance again. If he starts counteracting that by leaning forward, you can stick your stick right underneath his butt, lift up, and push him out. Pay attention the next time you're on a 2-on-1. Sometimes the goalie will expect the pass across and start cheating off the post. If he does this, take a look and shoot near side. Shoot to score. When we're skating backwards, we want to remember, you want to sit down, butt down, chest up, like you're sitting in a chair or a stool. Also, as you go to do your crossovers, or some people call them cross unders, you're going to be doing a C-cut, push under, Make an X with your feet, step out. C-cut, under, out. C-cut, under, out. C-cut, under, out. It's no secret that bigger goalies fill more net and have a greater range and reach than a smaller goalie. However, smaller goalies have more agility and usually have a quicker recovery when they go down to make a save. So coaches, don't give up on a smaller guy just because of his size. Keeping your knees bent is probably the most important part of hockey skating technique. Whether you're skating forwards, backwards, or even turning, having a good strong knee bend will help you to better your control, balance, speed, and power. So in practice, challenge yourself to bend your knees farther than you usually would in a game. That'll help you to be better in game situations. Scoring is both mental and technical. Goal scorers expect to score. Before the games, they visualize themselves scoring goals. They bring this goal-scoring attitude to the game. Win or lose, they're not happy with themselves if they didn't score. When a goal scorer shoots, he expects it to go in.
A skate that is out of square has one edge that's higher than the other one. This can lead to a skate turning much more easily in one direction than the other. It's like driving a car that needs a front end alignment. The way to determine if your skate has its two edges square to the side of the blade is to turn the skate upside down, hold it up to where you can look across the length of the blade and place a quarter over the two edges. If the side of the quarter and the side of your blades comprise a T, then your skates are correctly in square. But if one side of the quarter sits higher than the other, you have a high edge, and your skates are out of square.
Many players have the misguided idea that they need to lift their outside foot very high off the ice in order to generate that power during their turn, when in reality, it is the inside foot pushing under that's really giving them that balance and stability that they need while they're making their crossovers. There are a few different options when it comes time to building the knob of your hockey stick. Some people prefer a more square knob that keeps the same shape as the stick. Other people prefer a more rounded one that uses a little bit more tape. Either way works. Again, it comes down to personal preference. Another thing some people do is they like to take a roll of tape, twist it up so that it makes this little ridge and gives a little bit more finger grip. So figure out what works well for you.
When you're in your defensive zone and the offensive player is coming out of the corner, try to angle him off to one side and do what you have to do to either dislodge the puck and carry it yourself or get it off to your teammate. To gain an explosive start, you should picture in your mind what a sprinter looks like when the gun goes off. The sprinter is trying to thrust forward, not upward, to gain that extra advantage at the start, and their initial strides come from the balls of the feet. It's similar in hockey. We want to feel like we're thrusting forward, taking quick strides that may look like short strides to the naked eye, but are in fact best performed when fully extending the pushing leg. Remember to stay low throughout the move, trying to cover as much distance as you can while still making very rapid strides.
have to have good chemistry. Everybody has got to come together and play together. You don't have to like everybody on the team, but when you go out to play, you've got to respect that person for what he can do for you and to help your team. And you've got to battle with that guy. You don't necessarily have to like him off the ice, but on the ice, you definitely have to respect him.
One thing to remember when you're skating, to get more speed when you're skating forwards, is to have one hand on your stick. Gives your body more of a range of motion. Also, when you're skating backwards, you want to have one hand on your stick so that you can defend players easier. You have a wider range of motion here, just like this. If you have two hands, it restricts your body too much. So remember to keep one hand on your stick on offense and on defense.
There are two ways of using a stick check to steal the puck from a player who has it against the boards. The first way is you can tap his stick when his stick is between you and the puck, causing him to shoot the puck off the boards to you. The second way is to use your stick to lift his stick and then use your feet to control the puck. Either way is effective depending on the situation. As a forward, there are a lot of times during a game when you're going to have to come out against a defenseman and block a shot. When doing this, it's important to stay square to the puck and also stay in between the goalie and the shooter. A lot of players have a tendency to turn to the side or lift one leg or even go down on one knee. All of this can lead to injury as it leaves yourself vulnerable. Most of your equipment is actually on the front of your body, so you're going to want to stay square to the puck and stay in between the shooter and the goalie.
One of the most important pieces of equipment you can have is your helmet. If it's not on correctly, it could cause serious injury. Some of the things you want to make sure of is here, the chin strap. You want this to be securely fastened around your chin so your helmet doesn't fly off. Also, these face mask straps, you want to be securely tightened right there so your face mask doesn't fly out. Another thing you want to make sure of is that these J-clips right here are securely fastened. These stop your face mask from coming in and injuring your jaw. If your helmet's too loose, your helmet can fly off. It can cause serious injury. If it's too tight, it causes headaches. These two screws right here, you can loosen those and make the helmet bigger or smaller, so protect your noggin.
When a goalie uses a half butterfly to stop a puck, a lot of times what happens is the rebounds shoot right back out to the slot or onto the stick of an opposing player, creating a scoring threat for the other team. If the goalie were to use his stick a little bit more, he could control the rebounds and direct them into the corners or off to the sides where it's not going to be as much of a scoring threat for his team. As you practice your shot at home, at the rink, wherever it may be, the main thing you want to do is concentrate on getting your good reps in. Pick a corner and hit it over and over and over. For example, upper left, upper left, upper left, upper left. That way you can get used to what it feels like to get in that motion. When it comes time to play the game, you'll be used to shooting there. How do you get out of a slump? That question has one of the most clear-cut answers. The first thing you do is go back to the fundamentals and basics of the game. If you want to have success in any sport, be it hockey, football, or baseball, that's what you do. Winning teams do it every day.
For the wrist shot, we want to make sure that our body's set up properly to make the shot. First of all, we want to make sure that our toes are pointed away from the net so that if we were to put our stick down in front of our toes, it points right at the net. From there, we want to make sure that we start with the puck back here with our weight on our back foot. From there, we transfer our weight as we shoot to our front foot. As we do so, we start with the puck back here, and as we go, we want to turn our stick over and point right at the net when we're all done. So the final product looks just like this. So we have our weight back, bring it forward. Just like that.
Blocking out is one of the most important skills for a defenseman to learn, and how to block out depends on where the play is on the rink. So when the puck's in the corner, my main focus is to tie up this guy's stick. Make it so that he can't receive a pass and get a shot on goal. As the puck moves up to the point, now my focus shifts to pushing him out from the front of the net so that my goalie can have a clear view of the shot.
To get more power on your shot, you want to make sure that your follow-through is correct as well. Just like a pitcher in baseball, when you're done delivering your shot, you want to kick your back leg up like this. So if I were to go like this, watch my back leg, what happens to it when I'm done with the shot? Just like that. So we'll go back. It's almost like you're kicking it straight back. Just like that. That gives you more power on your shot.
Icing the puck isn't always such a bad idea. If you've been out there for a while, say 35 or 40 seconds, it's a lot easier to play offense in those situations than it is to play defense. Not all players realize this, but sometimes it's actually better to ice the puck, take a face off, and get some fresh horses out there. Under those circumstances, players shouldn't be afraid to take a whistle. But if you're fresh and the same situation arises, playing it off the glass and looking for an opening might be a good move.
As you're setting up in front of the net for a screen, one of the benefits is that you're blocking the goalie's vision, making it so he can't see the shot coming in. A lot of times to react to this, the goalie will drop down to get lower to be able to see the puck. When he gets down, it makes a bigger chance for a rebound, and you'll have a better scoring chance. So remember, when you're setting up that screen, be ready for the rebound.
Try and get away with cheating as much as you can on a face-off. I know the word cheating sounds bad, but I don't mean it in the way you may think about cheating. Cheating on a draw usually means that you position your feet differently every time. You try and get as much of an edge on winning it as possible.
We all know goalie's a tough position. A goalie can't always smother the rebound off a hard shot, but what he can do is work on controlling where that rebound goes. If he can get to the point where he can deflect that puck away from traffic, he'll eliminate most of the garbage goals.
Keep in mind that there are different postures for each face-off location. For example, in the defending zone, you should be playing to control the puck and be thinking defense first. Too often, teams try to break out from the face-off and end up giving up a goal because they not only lost the draw, but left the opposing team unchecked.
On the power play, while in the other team's zone, try positioning yourself behind the net. From behind the net, you can see the play and all of your opponents in front of you. If one of the other team's defensemen comes in to get you, that usually leaves a guy open in front. Be creative and use the net as a screen.
Covering the corners is an underappreciated part of the game. Teams that can come away from those battles in the corners at both ends of the rink with possession, or more importantly without giving the puck away, are the teams that are successful.
As you're setting up behind the net, a lot of times you can actually use the net as a sixth man. So as this defenseman comes in, I bank the puck off the net, step around him, and now I can set up my guy home free in front of the net.
Supporting forwards want to stay about a stick length away from their defensemen in the corners in the defensive zone. Defensemen, try to pin that man on the boards. Forwards, as soon as he does that, get in there and grab the puck and you're off to the races.
The goaltender is the last line of defense against the opponent. Because of this, it's easy to blame him for goals that go in. But it's also the coach's job to recognize that often there are many other circumstances or mistakes that lead to a goal, and that blame should not be placed squarely on the goalie's shoulders. The goaltender, however, has to approach the game in a manner where he feels that he can make a significant difference. Not just be there, but make a difference. It's the nature of the position.
Forwards, a good way to keep yourself from getting pinned by a defenseman is just to extend your arms to the glass when you're up against the boards. That gives you a few feet to control the puck. Remember to keep your fists closed so that you don't injure your wrists.
One of the most despicable things a hockey player can do when you come in to play pickup hockey is not pay right away. It's embarrassing if they have to come out and pull you off the rink so you have to pay. Remember, a hockey player is only good as his or her own checkbook, so pay right away when you get to the rink.
Many players don't realize it, but when they buy their skates from the factory, they come with a preset balance point. Usually the balance point is somewhere right in the middle of the skate. However, sometimes defensemen like to adjust that balance point, move it farther forward so that their skate leans backwards a little bit, makes it easier for them to skate backwards. Often also forwards will adjust their balance point farther back so that their skate is now tipped farther forward. It makes it so they can skate forward a lot easier. Making sure that your hockey equipment fits you properly is extremely important. For example, if your pants are too short, a lot of times when you bend your knee, it can expose part of your thigh. You can get hit with a puck or a stick. If the pants are too big, they can twist or rotate on your body and again leave you exposed for injury. One of the best ways to prevent injury is making sure that your equipment fits. So when it comes to hockey gear, size matters.
When we're talking about a slap shot, the first thing we want to talk about is our body positioning. So first of all, we want to have our skates about shoulder width apart, knees slightly bent like this in a nice comfortable position. We want the puck about 1 foot to 1.5 feet out in front of our front foot, just how it is right here. And you want them so that when you put your stick down, we're pointing right at the net, just like that. The next thing we want to talk about is our backswing and our follow through. So first of all, we want our hands positioned on the stick just a little bit more than shoulder width apart. We don't want our hand too far down or too far up. We want it just right here in the middle. So we're going to start from here. We want to do a full back swing with our hands like this, almost like a golf swing. And when we bring it through, we want to strike the ice about 6 inches in front of the puck. As soon as we strike that puck, we want to turn our stick over and point right at the goalie. And with our back leg, we want to kick it up. And we'll show that. Also, we want to transfer our weight from here just like that. So if I add the puck into all this, it looks something like this. Okay, we got our puck position in front of our toe. Backswing. Just like that. See how my back leg is kicking up?
Hockey players tend to check their skate blades to see if they're sharp, usually by taking their thumbnail, rubbing it along the edge of the skate, or oftentimes they'll take and run their fingers along the edge of the skate to see if it actually is sharp. Obviously this can be dangerous, so what we want to do is take the skate, aim it up towards the light, and turn it like as if you were looking at a thermometer, and you can see when you turn it, the dull spots on the blade will show up because the light's reflecting on them. You can see there's one right there.
Okay, when talking about the snapshot, the setup is very similar to the slap shot. We're going to have our knees slightly bent like this, our hand on our stick right here at a comfortable distance, not too far down on the stick, not too far high. Right here in the middle is where we want to be. We want to position the puck right out in front of us, about 1 foot to 1.5 feet in front of our front foot. Since this is a quick shot, this is a quick reaction shot, so if we're going to shoot this, it's going to be a fast one. So that when we're here, we're going to start with our stick about 1 foot to 1.5 feet behind it, and we're going to flick our wrists and point right at the goalie. So it looks something like this. So we got the puck positioning, we're all set. It's a quick snap of the wrist. So we're here.
Here's one of the ways you can tell if the people who sharpened your skates did a good job or not. When you get your skates sharpened, you'll notice that in between the two edges, there are some parallel lines that should be, if they did it correctly, should be parallel to the two edges of your skates, going up and down the length of your skate. However, if they did it wrong, you'll notice that the lines aren't parallel, they're diagonal. And this is because they had their balance off on the skate sharpener. You need to go back and make them do it again.
Goalies tend to get somewhat handcuffed when a puck is shot slightly above the ice to the outside of their pads and underneath their glove or blocker. Whatever the reason, goaltenders prefer to kick their legs out rather than to the side. Once a goalie kicks his leg to the side, his arm also tends to rise in the process, leaving a hole between the pad and underneath portion of his arm.
So you just bought your new hockey stick. A good rule of thumb when you go to cut your stick is if you're off the ice, cut the stick at about the level of your nose. If you're on the ice, you want to cut it to about your chin level, maybe just below. Some players like their stick taller, some players like their stick shorter. The advantage of a taller stick is you get more leverage on your slap shot, but you don't have quite as good stick handling ability. If you cut your stick shorter, you'll have better stick handling ability, but not quite as much leverage on your slap shot. So find a happy medium in between, but a good way to start is cut it at your nose when you're off the ice.
Before you get on the ice, you want to make sure that your body's loose. There's 3 basic stretches that we can do to make sure that our body's limber before we get on the ice. The first one is the quadricep stretch, the next one is the hamstring stretch, and the other one has to do with the injury nobody wants. It's the groin stretch. The first stretch that you want to do is the quadricep stretch. You want to grab your ankle like this, right here, and you want to put your knee directly under your hip and push backwards. You'll feel it right in here. You can hold on to something for balance. You want to hold it for at least 20 seconds to get a good stretch. The next one we want to do is the groin stretch. What you want to do is spread out your legs about twice shoulder length apart with your feet flat on the ground. All you're going to do is just lean to one side, and you'll feel it right in here. You want to hold it for 20 seconds on each side, and then switch over and do the other side. The last one we want to do is the hamstring stretch. This one you're going to do on the ground. You're going to come down. You want your foot tight in here against your thigh. You want to reach out with both hands. You want to touch your toe just like that. Hold it for about 20 seconds.
Many players put a lot of emphasis on the first shot, or the direct shot. While the first shot is very important in a play, more goals are actually scored off tips, deflections, rebounds, and so the positioning of the other players in the play in front of the net actually becomes more important than that direct shot itself. When deflecting a puck, it's important for the forward to stand out away from the goalie so that the puck has more time to change direction behind him once he's tipped that puck. While killing penalties, you don't want the other team to be able to come in, under control, set up, and start their power play. What you want to do is establish a precedent based on an aggressive system. You want to be able to pressure that man in and force them to dump the puck in and chase it rather than carry it. We don't sit back and wait, we try to force the issue.
One of the best ways to penetrate a shot blocking defense is through a lot of cross ice and perimeter passing. For example, the offensive defenseman at the blue line can make quick, crisp passes to the other defenseman, back and forth, as well as faking passes to the forwards in deep. If the passes are on target, sooner or later the opposing player attempting to block a potential shot will go down or go out of position, allowing the offensive player to move forward and take a shot or make a pass to someone in the slot. The key here is to keep the puck moving quickly and accurately.
Anyone who's played the game for some time knows what a cheap shot is. Spearing, butt ending, and elbowing can all seriously injure a player, so it's best not to initiate this type of play. However, the best payback for someone who's a cheap shot artist is a good, clean, solid hit. If you level somebody who's playing chippy, they'll know why you did it, and you probably won't see them again. So, wait till they have the puck with their head down, then make your statement. To move the puck effectively, the best passes are short ones. A defenseman should always be looking for the simplest play possible. He should use his partner as much as possible, especially when being forechecked aggressively. If he hangs onto the puck too long, an intelligent forechecker will systematically limit his options and run him out of room, forcing him into a turnover.
Okay, on to the backhand. The setup is the same as a wrist shot, except it's almost the exact opposite. Whereas on a wrist shot, our weight transfer starts here and goes forward. On the backhand, we're gonna start back here. We have our weight on our back foot. We have the puck on the heel of our stick. As we do this shot, we wanna bring our weight from the back and bring it forward. And as we do that, we wanna point our stick right at the goalie. Now for you youngsters, you might not be strong enough to get that puck off the ice right away. Don't worry about it. Once you practice, you'll develop the strength where one day you'll be able to put that puck anywhere you want. A good way to mess up a shooter, just to tap him on the gloves right here, enough to get him off the puck. So instead of taking a big baseball swing like this, which you'll probably get called slashing for, just give him a quick tap like this just to mess up his shot.
How deep should the hollow of your blade be when you get your skates sharpened? When the hollow is shallow, making the bottom of your blade relatively flat, you hydroplane along the ice, and this makes you slide better. Forwards and most recreational skaters who want to get more speed out of their skates will use a relatively shallow hollow. However, when the hollow is deeper, the blade will cut deeper into the ice, providing for more control. Just for a reference, 7/16 of an inch is a fairly shallow hollow that most people use. If you want more control and a deeper hollow, ask for 3/8 of an inch on the radius.
When going for the big hit, you have to use controlled aggression. A common thing for younger players is to be real aggressive, jumping up and trying to cause problems. They try to be overly aggressive at all costs and not necessarily being where they're supposed to be on the ice at any given time. When you're younger, you're always looking for the big hit, but you have to know when that's going to happen. You have to learn to play smarter, to know when it's time to make the hit and when it's time to hold your ground so you don't get stuck at a disadvantage.
One thing to take into consideration when you buy your new hockey stick is the size of the knob that you put on the stick. A knob that's too small might let the stick fall out of your hand more often. You won't be able to get a good enough grip on it. However, a knob that's too big will be bulky in your hand and affect your stick handling in a negative way. So, when you put the knob on your stick, keep it nice and tight, but not so small that it falls out of your hand.
Shooting on the stick side creates unique problems for a goalie. Not only is the stick cumbersome, but it limits a goalie's range of mobility. It's awkward for a goalie to sweep his stick to the outside, and in most cases the heel of the stick rises, creating a clear path for the puck. On the other hand, skate saves are practiced about as often as hockey in Hawaii. Therefore, attempting a skate save could net the same result. Even though more goals are scored low on the stick side than on the glove side, a goalie's stick side isn't always a softer spot. On most occasions, the goalie's stick leg is significantly better in terms of skate saves or half butterflies than the goalie's glove side leg. Why? Because on the stick side, the goaltender does not have the luxury of getting the stick involved in many of the saves. It's leg and leg alone. On the glove side, the goalie has the ability to use the stick as a crutch. This additional saving aid prevents the goalie from utilizing the glove side leg as often as the goalie utilizes the stick side leg. Should the goalie lose his goal stick during the game, you'll find the goaltender is far better on the stick side than the glove side.
As you come in with the puck, you should be looking at the goalie's positioning to decide whether to shoot high or low. If the goalie is out of the net, you should either deke or shoot low. If he's back in the net, then you can shoot high. But remember the shooter's illusion. Your eyes are seeing the net from a different angle than the puck, so a lot of times to you, it'll look like there's more room upstairs, when in reality, there really is more room down low.
When the puck goes to one of your defensemen for a shot from the blue line, tap the goalie's pads to distract him. But don't forget about that big defenseman, because he'll be looking for you. If you're coaching, especially younger kids, don't use skating as a negative or a punishment. This automatically sets the wrong tone for the players. Try to be creative when disciplining your team. Simply threatening your team with laps or other skating drills sends the message that skating is only practiced as a last resort. If specific drills are called for to emphasize stamina, endurance, or technique, use them as part of the regular coaching regimen.
addition to controlling the amount of physical contact during the pickup game, one should also play clean. Pickup hockey should be a time to develop skills, not combat tactics. On too many occasions, altercations during pickups erupt from someone's recklessly swung stick or from a spear that could kill a vampire. Play like this degrades the pickup game, and players who conduct themselves like ninjas should not be tolerated.
Work hard in the pregame warm-up. Skate really hard and get a good sweat going. It will help your nerves to settle down. It will also prepare you to work hard and be intense right at the start of the game. If you try to work your way into the game by skating off slowly and then building up your intensity, it'll probably be too late.
Stopping a breakaway is a three-step process. First of all, when the goaltender determines that there is a breakaway, he should come out well above the top of the goal crease and get set. This cuts down the angle for a shot and forces a sharp player to deke. Next, when the player reaches the top of the circles, the goaltender needs to begin his backwards motion. The third step is the save selection. This is the save choice that the goalie makes. Whether it's a stack of the pads or a half butterfly or just getting hit in the chest, a decision based on the situation and visual cues must be made.
Here are 10 things to remember when you're playing pickup hockey. Number 1. Upon arriving at the rink, pay for your ice time immediately. Number 2. Bring 2 jerseys, a light and a dark color, so that teams can be easily divided. Number 3. Assume that the scrimmage will be played with minimal body contact. Number 4. Don't hog ice time. Skate short shifts. Number 5. Play a team game. Nobody likes puck hogs. Number 6. Be considerate of your teammates as well as opposing players. Number 7, obey the rink rules. Avoid entering the ice until the Zamboni operator finishes doing his job. Number 8, be flexible with the teams picked and the position you might be asked to play. Number 9, arrive on time. It's annoying to rearrange teams after play has already started for the benefit of one person. Number 10, be friendly to all players. A friendly atmosphere keeps conflicts to a minimum.
Whenever possible, make sure to shoot low. If you think about it, this makes sense because most goalies can move their arms to cover the top of the net, but they're not as agile when it comes time to moving their legs to cover a quick low shot. Most of the goals go in the bottom foot of the net, so remember, shoot low.
When you're on a breakaway, keep your options open. When you come down on the goalie, try to keep the puck in the middle of the ice and have your body off the post. That way you can either shoot or deke.
What should you be thinking about as you break in alone on the goalie? Well, in reality, not much. Most of the thinking and preparation should have already happened at practice. When you go in on a breakaway, it's more of a reaction type play. You're not thinking about it. It happens so quickly, you're there, you're on top of the goalie, and you make your play.
Confidence is a vital ingredient, especially for goalies. Coaches often don't realize how they can ruin a goaltender's confidence with harsh words, bad practice drills, or yanking the goaltender, causing an embarrassing moment. That's not to say that a goalie need not be mentally tough, But while all stoppers must overcome the negatives of the game in order to excel, self-confidence is critical. Try to coach confidence in net. A struggling goaltender will often tinker with his positioning. He may stay very deep in his net, receiving false security from being close to the goalpost. But being too deep leaves a lot of room for the shooters. At the other extreme, the goaltender may come out way too far, running at shooters, sometimes to the hash marks. The goalie believes that by cutting down the angle, shooters cannot score. But often the goalie gets caught out of position by moving forward at the attackers. Shooters, watch the goalie's habits in the pregame warm-up. Goalies, don't overcompensate one way or the other just because you're struggling. Skaters should always be evenly balanced. If the balance point or center of the radius is too far back on the skates, the knees and ankles will be forced to bend excessively. There will be a noticeable loss of power in the skater's stride. If the radius is too far forward, the legs are locked into a rigid position. There will be a noticeable loss in the long, full stride. The skater may be limited to short, choppy strides. Improper positioning of the balance point will also cause muscle fatigue, frustration, and a loss of skater confidence. Flexibility increases a goaltender's speed and reduces injury. Flexibility exercises can be done alone or with a partner by having the second person apply slight pressure to the goalkeeper while in a variety of stretching positions. When doing any flexibility exercises, never bounce, always stretch. Ask a coach, trainer, or physical therapist for specific stretches designed for hockey players. Be sure to play safe and sure hockey. Inside your own zone, you must make sure of every pass and not be careless about over-stick handling the puck under pressure. Play the percentages, but above all, play by the clock and by the score. Giving up a goal against in the first minute or last minute of a period is deadly to your team's momentum. Being fancy with the puck in a close game will lead to defeat much more than victory. When you're stocking your roster for the upcoming season, you probably can't have a team of real small players or real big players. You want a balance. On every team you want speed, finesse, and some body checkers. You can't just be all big and slow because you wouldn't be effective. You look at the good teams in the league, and they've all got skill and they've all got size.
Remember, no matter what level of hockey you're playing, the idea is to have fun. Don't take the game so seriously that you take the fun out of it for yourself and for your teammates. So work hard, keep improving, and most of all, have fun. Thanks for watching Hockey Player Magazine's 101 Hockey Tips. We hope you found this video to be beneficial for your game. Make sure you visit us at hockeyplayer.com for more educational hockey tools.
I'm glad I wasn't standing there.
When you're receiving the pass, you want to catch it nice and easy, just like catching an egg on Mighty Ducks. Just like this, just like that, just like that, just like this, just like this. So just like this, just like that, just like that, and just like that. I'm stuttering a lot this morning. When you're doing a saucer pass. So what we're gonna do is open up our stick like this and just kind of flip it. That was a bad one. Want me to start over?
I hit the freaking post. You jerk.